Man, what a pretty day. The wind is blowing though, and that wind is cold. A lot of it is coming off of the snow, I think, up high. So I just got back from the tire shop, and I picked up a couple of rims for this axle. So that's going to be kind of what that's going to look like. That's going to set the track up higher than what I had thought. I might lower this down just a little bit because the track's going to run off the top of here on over. It's going to be pretty high in the sky. But I do want as much clearance underneath as I can get. I think 2 feet is probably about right. So I don't know, I might leave that high. It sure looks a long ways up though. And then width-wise, I was kind of worried. The offset is what they call right here. This, from the center of your tire, these sit out quite a little bit. The bolts, where the bolt's on, sits out here. I was kind of worried that that was going to put it in toward the body of this too far. But I think that's going to be just about right. I can go track about that wide from that side to that side, which should make it, I don't know, 18 inches maybe, more or less. So that's coming along. One thing I'm a little worried about is the rest of these wheels. This is the skinniest one, but the rest of these are not as wide as this one. This one is going to be my drive wheel though. So what I'm thinking, I could cut these off right here, this rim, and just use this centerpiece. They're not going to have rubber tires on them. They might have rubber tire tread though. The back two, what I'll probably end up doing is welding cleats on here. One way or another, I got to have a cleat of some sort to grab the track. I'm kind of thinking if I can use either rubber tire tread for the track, cleats. I don't know, maybe I'm not saying that right. The star cog, I guess you'd call it. The pieces that are actually going to grab the track and turn it. If I use rubber car tire, or I have some real thick, like inch thick, I don't know what it is, Teflon probably. I could use steel. That would be the easiest, just to weld those straight on there. But the trouble with that is that steel on steel is going to wear more. So I don't know if I really want to do that. But see, these rims, these are 7-inch, where these others are 7.5. Actually, they're not that much difference. They'd probably be okay. Underneath your track, you have those little finger things that go on either side. Come on the outside here and here, and that's what helps hold the track from falling off. So the closer I can get those to the same size all the way around, the better off I'll be. These ones here measure 7-inch. This is 7.5. Those two are thinner, and I think these ones with the rubber on them, I think they're going to be thinner too. So I don't know. I might not be able to make those work. The good thing is, I mean, I'd like to have it the same, but I got 2 sides. If I got 3 for this size that are say 7, and the other sides are 6.5, I'm not going to make that much difference. I can make the track to fit. But I'd rather make them the same, and that way if something goes wrong, you can replace it easier without having to try to remember what you did. So I have I went and got some brake pads for these. You have, with disc brakes, you have both the ones inside the caliper. Then you have on the outside of these discs, they have a drum inside, I guess would be. They have a drum that is the parking brake on this style, which would be good. I mean, if you end up with a problem, your brakes go out or whatever, having a parking or emergency brake, I think would be a good thing. So, my cobble job is coming together slowly but surely. These, I was really hoping, this tube here, I thought maybe the inside of that tube would be close to the outside of that tube, and I could just cut this off, cut that off, slide it in there, and weld them together. That's not going to work. I ended up drilling a hole in them so I could measure, and that is quite a little bit different in size. This one is quite a bit bigger. So that ain't gonna work. I gotta come up with something else. I thought maybe too, that maybe this piece, if I cut off the end of that one and slid this into there, I could just reverse it. This is the front end of the drive shaft, but it could be the back end too. I mean, just as easy. But I don't think that's gonna work either. It's too sloppy on the inside. This is smaller than the tube is. One way or another, I'll figure it out. This is kind of interesting. I've never seen that. Got a little stud right there. I wonder if that's what holds the U-joints in on this one. I don't know. But I'm gaining, folks. I haven't had any time at all to work on this with the horse sale and the mule sale and now the cleanup. I got a ton of cleanup. That's going to take me a month. I'm going to try to work on this a little bit here and there, though. And I finally hit 14,000 subscribers. I didn't think that was ever going to happen. You know, and this YouTube stuff, it's frustrating. It really is. And I never thought I was ever going to get this far. The only reason I stuck with this is somebody told me I couldn't do it, and that made me want to do it all the worse. But to end up getting what they call monetized before you can actually make any money at this, you have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. That takes forever to get. But once you do get that, it seems like the next 1,000 comes a little bit faster, and the next 1,000 comes a little bit faster, and the watch hours, watch time, the more videos you have out there, even though they're older ones, people will still watch those, so you end up increasing watch time hours faster also. And it takes time. It's not a quick deal. Hillbilly, you know, he challenged me to that one a day thing, and that is tough. It's really tough. A lot of times there just isn't much going on, or you're too busy to bother with this camera thing, because anytime I dig this out, it slows me down doing whatever it is I'm doing. But the more hours you have of people watching, the more you'll end up getting paid, because you don't get paid by the views. You get paid by the advertisements they put on. Around Christmas time, me and Hillbilly, we've been, you know, keeping tabs on each other and comparing notes and things. around Christmas time, we both did much better than we have the last couple of months, but it was because Christmas time they were putting on a lot of advertisement. And I know everybody gets tired of watching the ads, and I do too, but every time they play an ad, you get a little bit of a cut off of it, and it's very little. You get fractions of a penny, but over time it adds up. And before I did the one a day part, I wasn't getting anywhere near what I am now. And I'm still not getting a lot. What they do, in order to get paid, you have to get $100 worth before they'll send you any money. If you say a month goes by and you only make $50, then you don't get paid until probably the next month when you make another $50. For the longest time, when I was only doing a couple, 2 or 3 a week, I wouldn't make the $100. I'd get $50 or something for a month. And so my goal was to go an entire year where I would get paid $100 each month. And thanks to him pushing me, I did do that. This last year, I did better than that. Doing one a day, I was getting anywhere from $100 on up to, well, the best one was Christmas time. I made $1,000. So most of the time, it's somewhere around $200 or $300. So it all adds up. And if anybody is thinking of doing this, don't give up. I mean, it takes a long time. It's a lot of work, a lot of effort, for really not a very lot of money. I mean, when you really consider the time you spend on it, it's not a lot of money. But like I said, my job here, it doesn't pay a whole heck of a lot, and so this helps. This is something I can do as I'm working or in my spare time, if I have any. And I don't have to go somewhere else to a second job to try to make some money. Before I started doing this, the whole reason I started doing this, I had what they call a water master job. And if you're new, I've talked about this before and you won't know what I'm talking about. But water master in the western states has to be one of the worst jobs you could ever have. It didn't pay that badly, but everybody hates your guts. They do. And what you basically have to do, well, let me see if I can explain this. Hold on. Okay, so what in the world is a water master? In the western states, we are pretty dry. We don't have a lot of water to irrigate with. And without water to irrigate with, you have no hay fields, you have no crops, you have no money. Because that's how you have to have water to grow whatever it is you're farming. And it all started in the Old West with the miners. Somebody would come along prospecting and they'd hit a gold strike on some creek someplace. And try as hard as you can, word will eventually get out that there's gold there. I mean, even if you're really quiet about it and you don't tell anybody and everything, you still have to take your gold into town to the assay office and swap it for money. And people are gonna talk. They're gonna say, hey, you know, old Muskrat over there, he's been bringing in a couple $100 in gold every week or every month or whatever. And pretty soon word's going to get out and all the other miners are going to go up and see where you're getting it from. And so they're going to start prospecting along the same creek you are. Maybe, quarter mile up or downstream or something like that. And if they find any, they're going to file the mining claim too. And pretty soon you're going to have a dozen people on this little bitty creek, and you're going to run out of water. And without water to run through your sluice box and your pans and all your equipment, you can't mine. And so what they did is they started a system of first come, first serve, basically. The guy that found the first gold claim, he has first rights to the water. And as the snow melts too, say in the spring, you got lots of water. Midsummer, there's no snow coming down, you don't get any rain, so that water dries up, as well as people taking it out of the ditch or out of the creek. And so the first guy that found it, he has the first water right. The second guy in line, if there's not enough water for the first guy, he doesn't get any. He has to be kicked off. He's done for the year until the water comes up again. Same with the third guy in line. Say you got 5 people in line. If you got 5 people and there's not enough water, this guy stops. And then this guy stops when the water dwindles. This guy stops. And then maybe you got enough for the last 2. And that is kind of transferred over to crop irrigation. When the water starts to dry up and there's not enough for everybody that's using it, somebody has to get shut off. The water master is the guy that comes to your door or knocks on your door and says, "No more water for you." Well, that doesn't go over so well when you got hay to grow and you don't have any money and you gotta have water to grow your crops. Then everybody hates your guts because you just told them that that's all they get for the year. And that was my job. It was not a fun job. So I held on to that for 2 years, and I just couldn't take it anymore. The creek I was doing it on, too, I didn't know at the time. We used to actually live up there, but we didn't have water rights, so I didn't know anything about this until I took this job. But the nickname of it was Crazy Creek, because everybody up there hates everybody, and it's just crazy. So I held that job for 2 years until I finally had enough. I just couldn't do it anymore. And so I was trying to do that as well as the fairgrounds, and it was a juggling act. I didn't have time for the both of them. I quit that job, but I needed something to replace it with and something that I could try to make some money on, but I didn't want to have to leave the fairgrounds to do it because I don't have time, I didn't want to have somebody counting on me to come do a different job when I couldn't do it, couldn't be there. So I tried selling some things on eBay, and that helped a little bit. Then my cousin Seth, he says he was doing this YouTube thing. And I said, "What do you want to be on that dang bragging site for?" And he says, "Well, because I'm making money." And I said, "Well, how are you making money? I didn't know you could." So he explained to me how it worked, and here I am. So anyway, it's a lot of trouble. It's a lot of hassle. I didn't expect it to make a lot of money, and it hasn't made a lot of money, but it helps. And one of the things I didn't expect is to make friends on this. I just kind of figured it would be something I could do basically in spare time and try to help out my income. I didn't expect to meet people like you folks that were so much fun to talk to and visit with, and I've got to know a lot of you folks through the comments that I would never have ever have before. Hillbilly even. I mean, we've been friends now for years, and really good friends. I mean, we've only got to get together twice, once when I was going over to see my mom and once when we were coming back. And both times it was a quick visit, but we hit it off real well, and we've been good friends. We talk pretty much every day. And I wish we were closer. Idaho, let's see, is that the right direction? It'd be that direction on the map, I think. No, it would be that way. Anyway, we live right there. He lives right there. It's not that far in between, but the whole center of Idaho, it's kind of shaped like that, The whole center of Idaho is wilderness area, which means you have to go up and around and back down, or you have to go down and around and back down. We only live about 150 miles apart, but to get there is a 7-hour drive. I wish there was a way we could cut through the wilderness because it would be a lot quicker and closer, but there's no roads. It's, a lot of you folks that aren't from the West, you don't understand really what the wilderness area is. It's designated roadless area. It's kind of like Yellowstone Park or something like that. It's closed. Yellowstone has roads and things, but it's closed to everything except for people on foot and horses. There are a couple of airstrips where people can land an airplane, but there's no motorized vehicles, no wheeled vehicles. You can't even take a bicycle in there. You can't take one of those game carts that's kind of like a wheelbarrow. You can't take those in there because they have wheels. You can't take a chainsaw. The outfitters that are in there, they use one of the big hand misery whips, they call it. Usually it's the big saws with a guy on either end, and that's how they have to cut their firewood. So it's impossible to get through there. You have to go around. Even if you had a horse or something to cut through there, it would take you a week. You can't do it. So we don't get together very often. I keep hoping he'll come out here and see us in the summer months. And summer months I can't do it at all. That winter months maybe we can do it again. I'd like to go over and see my mom again. That's been, I think, 2 years, and she's in her 80s, and I don't know, health-wise, she's doing okay, but that ain't going to stay that way forever. Cindy doesn't really want to go over there because it is a long ways, and she was wanting to go down south and see some of the Indian ruins and things like that. And her dad, it's been probably a dozen years ago, he had a massive stroke down in Phoenix, Arizona, and ended up passing away. And we drove down there to see him before he died, and we did go to some of the Indian ruins then. I'd love to go back, and so would she. I grew up down there, so I've seen most of those, but she hasn't. So that's kind of in the back of my head. We might end up trying to do that. I don't know. It's all time and money that we ain't got. So, anyway, I'm rambling. This is one of those days I didn't really have much to talk about. We see you tomorrow, folks, and thank you very much for watching. Like I say, I got a lot of cleanup to do here. I'd like to get back up to the bear bait and put some more bait in there. There's some other stuff I want to do. I want to get back to work on this. So hang in there, and all you folks that got me over the 14,000 subscriber mark, welcome, and thank you very much. I'll have better, more exciting videos soon, I'm hoping. You still can't get up that mountain. We probably won't be able to until close to the 1st of June. And the other direction, if I go back around by the mine, I might be able to get to one of my trail cameras that way. I don't know. Right now I have 3 trail cameras out. One of them's on the bear bait, and 2 of them have been out all winter because it snowed and I couldn't get them back. Hopefully they're still working and I got something interesting on them. It might just be a bunch of bushes moving around and snow falling and who knows, but hopefully there's something neat on there. find out as soon as I can. But the one, it's on the very top of the mountain. I won't be able to get to that one for quite some time. The other one's in the bottom, but to get there I gotta go over the top and back down. Or if I go around by the mine, I might be able to get to it that direction. That's still pretty high elevation. See you folks. I'm babbling. Bye.